listening to those sessions. All right, thank you very much. Now, quick information for those of you who were asking about the recording. It's currently on our YouTube page now. You can feel free to go there after the class, to listen to. If you missed last class or you did not hear, your network was not so strong, you can pick up, and just listen. Just 1 hour, 15 minutes or so. You can just listen to get up to speed as well. Uh, I want to thank everyone for coming, and we'll start with a quick opening prayer. After the opening prayer, I will yield the floor to um, Gideon, who is going to complete his class on branding today. Father Lord, we thank you for this wonderful time. We ask that you open our hearts, inspire us, point us to where our business needs some brand transformation the most, so that the nugget we get from today will be used to grow this kingdom. And Lord, we are promising that the business you have given to us, we are going to do it diligently, and so that we will use it to uplift your kingdom. Thank you, Father, because we know you've answered our prayers. For in Jesus' name we have prayed. Amen. Amen. All right, so welcome everyone. I'm going to yield the floor to Gideon to complete his class. I'm going to crave your indulgence today, guys, that we should end by 8:15. So these 7 minutes I have taken for the introduction, let's knock it back. So we just bear with us so that we can end at 8:15 today. So Gideon, over to you, and God bless you.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everyone. Just can you confirm you can hear me?
I can hear you. I believe others can.
Beautiful. Good evening. The 11 of this call. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So I'm just going to share my screen. So we continue from the last session, the last class that we had just finished up today. I want to believe that we enjoyed the last class, and I'm just going to do a short recap of what we discussed in the last on Tuesday, and then take it up from there. So we talked about what branding is all about. Why do we need to brand? What exactly is strategy? I mean, what exactly is strategy? What does brand strategy means? We saw what it means, or how to be able to build like your mission, your vision statements, your core values. We had this discussion during the last class. I talked about how your mission statement is, your vision is the destination you're going. The mission is how you get to that destination, and then your core values are the guiding principles that you follow to get them on the path towards that destination. And then we look at different frameworks on how to be able to answer these questions. What exactly is your purpose? Why do you do what you do? What is the reason why, and how do you do it? Then we look at the core values as well. Talked about audience market analysis, and this was where we had like an empathy map session, where we try to understand our clients in terms of the experiences that our clients have with brand, with our product. How do they relate with it? And we did an example of what an empathy map should look like, just to understand what our clients or customers think, what they say, what they see, and what they hear. And that helped us to be able to identify insights and opportunities that could position us as an advantage to our customers. And then we went to brand persona. This was where we talked about brand archetype. What exactly is a brand archetype? How do we identify what brand archetype is? We listed out the 12 different brand archetypes. This was where we ended the class on Tuesday. And I talked about each of the brand archetypes. And I'm sure during that session, some of you could place your brand on a particular brand archetype after hearing what exactly those brand archetypes are and how it's relates with your brand. So we will start with all this process for now, and then move into the visual aspect of things. And then we do just a quick practical session using Canva, how we can use Canva to do a bit of branding for ourselves, and then we will use it to manage our visual identity. Now, what is audit process? And this is just to a little continuation of what we discussed in the last session. One of the things that I tell my clients when strategy session is being done is that you need to audit yourself. And what does that mean? What do you mean by auditing yourself? In terms of like your visual look, if someone should go on Google, for example, and type the name of your brand and go to images or go to your website or go to your social media, is there consistency across? So are you seeing the same color scheme? Are you seeing the same look and feel in terms of visual perspective of your brand? Every touch point that your brand is there consistency across it? If you go to the image tab on Google and you search on and put the name of your brand, all the pictures that you see, does it tie with your brand? That is where the visual perspective comes into play. From a verbal perspective, every touch point that you've talked about your brand, that your brand has communicated on, either maybe on IG, Instagram, social media, website, the way you speak on all of that platform, do they sound the same? Remember, we talked about our personality type and also our brand archetype. So if you say your brand archetype is maybe a sage brand, on every post that you put out or everywhere you communicate, you sound like you understand what you are doing. You sound very educated. All of those things are things that needs to be put into consideration when you are speaking. So if someone should read something about your product or read something about you on a post, even if they don't even see your logo, they're like, this sounds like a so and so brand. This sounds like something that JSC will put out. This sounds like something that this particular brand will put out. That is verbal perspective. Then behavioral perspective. Behavioral perspective is how you express your brand in terms of customer interaction. Let me give an example. I don't know if we are familiar with what Coca-Cola is doing recently with this share a Coke ad. Here you see on the bottle of Coke, you will see your name or a name of the person, and then people go to the store, they are looking for their own bottle that is customized. That's a behavioral way of doing things, and it ties with how their brand communication is. There's a connection aspect of things. There is also remember we talked about their brand archetype as an innocent brand. So all of these things are connected. This is an example. Let me zoom in so you see. So you see, sorry. So this is Snickers bar. The title, you can see the caption that says, "You are not you when you are hungry." Now, the Snicker brand they have a bit of jester in their brand. That's why whenever you see any ad that they put out there, it's very witty, can be funny and whatnot. Now look at Chicken Republic that we're familiar with. Anytime you enter Chicken Republic, you hear nice. You can see that in their communication. Crispy, juicy chicken. Like there is a way they communicate. Now look at MasterCard, right? Now this is a combination of both verbal, behavioral, and visual. So you can see the behavioral point of view where you have two plates connected together, which actually represents. You can't see the shared screen. Can anyone see my screen?
I can see his screen. Maybe you should drop off and join again.
Okay. I just wanted to show that I've not been presenting. Okay. So then you see another example, football is priceless, and then you see their logo and you see the way they are able to express the brand and their logo or their brand, even in sports, in food, in traveling. Traveling is priceless, experimenting is priceless, football is priceless. But that is how those are ways you can represent your brand. So you need to be intentional in terms of your audits. Once in a while, it can be 3 months, it can be 6 months. Check your brand at different touch points. Google, Pinterest. Just search for the name of your brand and look at how everything comes together. We can let's use Google right now. Try what that looks like. Let me share that part of the screen. Let's just do a quick demo so that it's not like I'm just talking. So let's search for. Let me use Coca-Cola. Let's use Coca-Cola as an example. So you see Coca-Cola, you can see that the first thing that is showing you is their website. You see Coca-Cola company as well. You see Coca. So you can see that already Google, they've already taken up the first 4 page of their website and of the search bar. Now, when you go to images, what exactly should you can see that it is all they're seeing only Coca-Cola products, like the red, their logo, everything is consistent. Even the way the pictures look, there's a particular style that everything has. And this is what auditing does. That anytime people go and search for your brand, they can see that consistency across it. Now, we're going to back to the presentation. Okay. So, what are the core elements of visual branding? Now that we've understood the concepts of like branding and brand strategy and how to position yourself, how to understanding why you exist. How do you now represent all of these things visually? This is where the artifact starts to come into play. And for this particular aspect, more often than not, is for designers, or if you want to now start designing anything that has to do with your brand. There are things that you need to understand in terms of branding. And we'll start with the principles of design. If you are designing something, if you look at elements or things around you that has a proper form, that is properly designed, there are principles that guide those things. There is what we call balance. So when you look at an image, when you look at a product, or just maybe look at something around you, even if it's a bottle, even your phone or a chair, there is balance represented in it. So what that means is you can see that everything is properly aligned. You can see the representation of the circle. Balance is a key aspect of whatever it is that you are designing. If you design something and it doesn't look balanced, everything looks scattered, right? Then you have contrast. What does contrast mean? It means that you have an inverse of whatever it is that you are putting on. So you have the white, you have the black. The black is able to stand out on the white, the same way the white is able to stand out on the black. You don't have maybe very light white here, light gray on this white. There's no proper contrast, so it makes it difficult to see. But what contrast does is it helps you separate the foreground, basically what is in front, from the background. So that is what contrast is. Now, emphasis is when you're trying to place emphasis, just like the word means, emphasis on a particular element in your design. So you can see how this particular yellow stands out in this shape. We'll see how this reflects in actual designs as we move on. But I need you to understand these things first. You'll notice that maybe on a keyboard, why is the space bar the biggest key on your keyboard? Or maybe you have like your fridge or something around you. Look for what exactly is the most emphasized in that item. You see that emphasis is a key thing because that is the first thing that we want people to pay attention to. Then there is also movement. Movement is a principle of design. When you are designing, is there movement? Is there like a movement or a procession or a pattern that is consistent in whatever it is that you're doing? Reading basically means what you are saying is consistent across the elements. So it has a form of movement. This looks like a square. You can have this at this point, you can have this at this point, you can have it at different points. It just basically means there is motion, there's a form that has been created in it. The same thing too with hierarchy. What is the biggest element on your design? What is the smallest element? Or what is the thickest element? What's the lightest element? That is what hierarchy is. So whatever it is that you are creating, does it have hierarchy? Does it have reading? Does it have balance? These are different expressions of how you can design whatever it is that you're doing. White space. White space basically means you have enough space in your design and then you have an emphasis in what you are doing. Like this, you can see that this particular page, for example, there is so much white space around it. And that is because it allows you to just focus on what you have here, which is the main information. And if you are to look at it from this, if you are to look at these principles with just this particular page, you will notice that in terms of size, hierarchy, this is like the first thing. So in terms of emphasis, you see this principles of design as the first thing that is that stands out, because that takes a different color and it is on its own and it is very bold. Then after you have that, then you now have this image and then you have the logo. So another thing is unity. Unity is also something to put in place when you're trying to design. What does that mean? Like when you see something of similar elements put together, it comes together. There's this form of unity balance that comes into play. It's how maybe on your keyboard, for example, all the keys, they look similar. You are not having, I mean, the way it is formed. You don't have a letter E in asterisk form. You don't have letter I in a different form. There is that unity that makes it easy to be able to concentrate on what you are doing. Variety, just from the word variety, it gives you options to be able to see different things. It's a way you can also design. Alignment. Alignment, I know we are familiar with this when we write text and information. Your design, your visuals needs to be properly aligned. If it is not properly aligned, it makes it difficult to see in the eye. Everything just looks scattered and it's not properly formed. Alignment is a principle of design that you need to pay attention to when you are designing or when you are putting up a document or whatever it is. And then you have proportion. Proportion, just like the word, what is bigger, what is smaller, what is in terms of sizing, which one do you focus on, and then repetition. Repetition comes more from patterns, what you consistently put up. Now, I know this might seem a bit abstract, but as we see other designs, you start to see representations of all of these principles in it. And it's something that I need you to pay attention to. Look at things around you, look at objects that are around you. It could be your bag, it could be your TV. You will notice that everything is not the same size, right? So all the buttons, everything is not the same size. You know that some things are bigger than the other, some things are smaller than the other, some things they make bolder, some they reduce the size. And that's because it's a principle of design that helps your product or whatever it is that you are creating to be visually appealing. Now, your logo. Your logo is like your visual signature. It is what speaks, it's one of the things that speaks for your brand when you're not in the room, right? And it's the first thing that people recognize. It could be a simple icon like what you have here as Apple, or a full word mark, which is what you have as the full name Coca-Cola. And there are different ways logos can be represented. There's logo psychology, and what that means is how the logo is formed, or what shapes the logo is properly defined. I need you to understand that your brand has a personality to it. We talked about it's not just supposed to be something very mechanical or just basic. It needs to be able to communicate. It needs to be able to speak and say something about what you represent. And you see different types of logos. You see a circular logo. It shows community, unity, friendship. That's what circles. The shape circle represents. The form ring shows strength. It shows resolution. So whatever, when you are building your brand, when you understand what you stand for and how you started building the structure, you start to ask yourself, okay, what are the things that you want to see? If your brand is supposed to come off as flexible, adaptable, calls are things that you can introduce into it. There's also the square part that shows stability as a brand, consistency as a brand. Triangle is another one for power. Science is also something that represents a triangle. Then for lines, either vertical or horizontal, it has its own meaning and representation as well. So you have things like endurance, like strength, power, all of this. It could even be reading, so you can see that there is a pattern representation as well. And there are meanings to this logo. Your logo should not just be lifeless. Now, it's not, you don't, it's all these rules are not, they're not cast in stone rules. There are situations where you might not even have those things in place, but it is always good to have something properly defined. Remember, we said strategy is about creating definition. And if you do not have that definition of whatever it is that you are building, you get whatever it is that you're creating might be difficult for people to be able to interpret, or people will eventually give an interpretation of it by themselves. So you need to be intentional about doing that for people, as opposed to leaving it open for people to interpret it themselves. So there are now ways, different types of logo options. So you have a word mark, which could be like the name of your brand. It could be a monogram where you combine two letters. It could be a letter mark, which is like an initial form, or you have a brand mark, which is what you have as the icons that you initially saw, and then there are emblem types. The type of logo style that you create is dependent on the nature of your brand, right? It's dependent on the nature of, you see monogram most times comes with like maybe fashion brands. You see letter word letter marks or handwritten script logo for maybe things like signature brands, photography, all of these things. So they are the type of business that you are in, or whatever it is that your product is, also reflect the nature of the type of logo that you're going to build, because every logo has its form. Now, this logo guide, which I would eventually I'll still share with you, helps you to have like the things that you need to put in place for your logo. So you need to have your main logo, which is the one that has either your tagline or your tagline or whatever it is that you stand for the brand. So you have that. Then you need to have your color scheme. So your color scheme are the primary colors that you use for your brand. We'll see how to pick colors as we move on. Then you have clear space. What does clear space mean? When you put your logo on any particular place, wherever your logo is placed on, there needs to be an amount of space around your logo so that your logo can breathe. Remember, we said your logo has a personality. Look at it as an entity that exists. So you don't put your logo close to the edge of something that makes it like you are trying to squeeze it in or something. No, you don't do that. You give it space around it so that it can breathe. You need to have different versions of your logo. You need to have the one with tagline. You need to have the one, an inverse logo. So you have an icon form. You need to have a white version or a monochrome version, so that whenever you want to use it on different expressions, it is easy to represent. You also need to have the minimum size of how your logo should be. So you see that there's something, their logo will be very tiny. It makes it difficult to see. So you need to make sure you have like a logo size. And all of these things, most times, it is the person that is working on your branding, or the person that is building your brand identity for you, needs to provide you with this logo guide. So, and if someone is creating a logo for you, or you are the one creating your logo, make sure that whatever file they are sending to your package contains all of this information. There should be a logo do's and don'ts. So there are things that you should not do with your logo. For example, you should not rotate your logo. You should not change the color of your logo. You should not put maybe a shadow if a shadow doesn't exist in your logo. You don't change the type of font that you use in your logo. You need to make sure all of these things are properly stated. You will see that the logo, it makes your logo feel premium, very intentional, and very personalized to what you do or what your brand does. So that's something you need to be intentional about. Now, in terms of colors, colors also speak. Colors communicate something. It triggers feelings, either cool colors or warm colors. And you need to know, okay, based on your brand, do you want to come up as serious? Do you want to come up as playful? Do you want to come up as excited? If you're going to pick a color based on what your brand is, remember we've talked about brand personality, brand archetype. You need to know where you stand in your brand. Are you supposed to be? Are you a playful brand? Are you a serious brand? Are you in the middle? When you are able to identify that, it helps you to know the kind of colors to select from. And then colors also have meaning, right? So the warm colors, so colors like red, you see excitement, love, both, which is why you see red, orange, and yellow for restaurant brand. So that when you encounter their product or their brand, you get this sense of excitement, energy, food, bright, cheerful, confidence representations in the elements. Then you have cold colors like green, blue, purple, colors that are calm, they are peaceful, they are not too loud, but they also have their meaning. You can check out the meaning of logo, so that when you are building when you are trying to create something. So for example, if your brand is a tech brand, if you're a tech brand and you are using only green across all the visuals or whatever it is that you are creating, people will probably mistake your brand for an agro brand, for example, and you don't want that. right? You notice that some tech brands, either they fall within blue, around blue, because of one, it's blue is more for the tech, blue and purple tech inclined. It also shows trust, it shows strength, it shows stability. So those are things that you want to also understand and know when you are selecting colors for your brand. There is a color trick that you need to understand. When you are having a color palette, when you are selecting colors for your brand, you need to look at it from the visual weight. What is your primary color? In these documents that are this presentation that have been showing you all through, which color has been the most prominent of all the colors? It's the green. The green has been the most prominent color you've seen us, and listen, that is the primary color for my green is my favorite color. So it is my own, it's primary color I use to build any visual design I'm creating for myself. So you can see that 60% of it is the green. Then sorry, 60% is the okay, this is wrong. 60% is the biggest one. Then you now have your accent color, which is other colors that you add to the element, which is, you can see this accent color, you can see it here as well. So those are things you need to put into consideration when you are having your color scheme. The same thing too for fonts. Fonts have personalities. Fonts, you need to, when you are writing or choosing fonts, you need to make sure that your fonts match the vibe of your brand. You need to align with the type of how your of what your brand communicates. If you're into fashion, for example, you need to use a font that looks, that is maybe fashion oriented or stylish. It shouldn't just be a plain font. Look at this, for example. This is a script font. It's not just what you have in the regular font, and then it gives that information personality, even like a form of message or a form of personality that makes it stand out. That's something that you need to put into consideration when you are picking fonts. Look at these two images. This first one, I will always find you, and this second one, I will always find you. This one, the first one, looks romantic. This one looks like a threat, and it's the same write-up, the same color. But what makes the difference between the both of them is the font that is used. So fonts matter in whatever it is that you are communicating. If you are writing a serious letter or information, that's not when you start using a font that you use to write love letter to your girlfriend, or that's not when you start using all those script fonts that can be difficult to read. No, you use a font that is serious, that makes it easy to read. If you are writing, if you are doing a design or something that is very playful or expressive, yes, you can now start using all those fonts. Now look at this. And one thing that I want you to pay attention here is there is the principle of design is also applied to this text arrangement. You will read this first, which is the biggest information that you have here, and then you will read this next. Then you will probably read this before you now read this entire thing. And that is because there is weight hierarchy in the arrangement of the font and of the font. But imagine if everything is of the same size or everything is of the same font, right? You can even do everything of the same font, but if they are all of the same weight, then it doesn't. There's no contrast. There is no. You can't separate each one. Your eyes would follow the pattern, the reading, the way you structured it. You can see that there is also alignment. Everything is justified to your left. There's the alignment also put in place here. There is the sizing. This is the biggest. This is the next one you read. So when you are doing a design, which one do you think people would read first when they see that design? Which one will be the next one? So that way, it helps you know that, okay, whatever it is that you've made the boldest, the biggest, or whatever, is the first thing that people will pay attention to. That is how you create design. That is how you use fonts. That is how you represent them. These are different types of fonts, right? You have serif fonts. So all fonts that look like this particular style, very old school, is font that they use in newspapers, in books, in fashion. This is they're called serifs. So they come up very reliable, very dependable, very neutral, conventional fonts. Then you now have the likes of sans serif fonts. You don't need to put all these names of fonts in your head. It's just so that when you are looking for fonts, you know the type of fonts you'll be searching for. If you're trying to find this, okay, I'm looking for a sans serif font because what you're looking for is for when you want to use that font, maybe on your website or your design. So these are simple, clean, minimalistic fonts. And then you have script font, which is like the font that I showed you initially. It's more feminine, more fancy, very elegant, very personal. Those are script font. And then you have slab font. These are more for like sports displays, very bold representation. So these are like the four different categories or four types of font categories that we mostly use. So when you are looking for fonts, you know, okay, if what I'm doing is supposed to be very modern, I need to work more with a sans serif font. It could even be that, okay, maybe you're trying to do a flyer or a design for, let's say, a birthday invitation. Yes, you can use like a script font for that because you know that an invitation card is going to be fancy and all. But if you are doing a flyer for an invite to maybe a program that is very serious and very premium, you use a clean sans serif font. You get, or you can even use a serif font. So that's it for fonts. Now for images and icons. As we've talked about colors, we've talked about logo, we've talked the logo, and we've talked about fonts. The kind of images and icons that you use is also important. Images also communicate things. You have pictures that are bright and very bold, and then you have dark, moody pictures. The kind of images that you use should be consistent with your brand. If you are communicating a brand that is supposed to be friendly, playful, very open, very people-oriented, you don't use pictures that are dull or pictures that are very mundane or pictures that look very vague. You need those pictures that communicate whatever it is that you are doing, and you need to be consistent. So if your brand is black and white, or black and white is a key thing that you're consistent with, then let black and white, because not today you put black and white, tomorrow you're putting pink, next tomorrow you're using yellow. It doesn't make it difficult. It makes it difficult for people to be able to identify your brand properly. Right. So I will share this kit with you, so that when you have this, you have your logo, put your logo in the box, have your colors, look at put your icon and pattern, and then maybe create mock-ups of it. What this does is when you see everything together, you can say, okay, this is a properly done identity that looks like your brand. Let me show you some examples. And these are these are designs that I have created and some of the companies that I've worked with and I've done branding for. This is for sorry. Okay. Just zoom in so that you can see clearly. Okay, so this is Slop Bar. This is it's a noodles restaurant, right? You can see the logo has the chopstick and also the and you notice this is the pattern. Pattern is used across the brand, the color, even the type of picture. You can see that the picture has the same color tone as the brand. It has this earthy feel and look to it. That is the branding. That is the way. So the type of picture that is used, the color scheme, and the font, it is very consistent. This is another brand. It's called Marketing Girls Corner. You can see the logo. It is for women. It is sorry, for ladies, Gen Z young ladies, and you can see the color scheme is very consistent. Look at if you go to their Instagram page, you will notice that the purple, the white, and the accent colors are also used. So these are their colors. You have the purple as the primary, you have these two as primary, and then you now have the accent colors. These are ways you can put your brand together and see if everything comes together. This is another one. This is a tech brand. It's called Trustco. This, you can see the logo. You see the font as well. You can see that the font here is different from this type of font, and that is because of the nature of the brand. This is another one. This is MindSpark. This is these are just different representation for you to now look at for social media, for example. This is CWG or FMN. I don't know if we are familiar with FMN, Flour Mill of Nigeria. You go to their page, you notice that all the pictures have the same color scheme as well. The same too for some. These are also brands that I've also worked with, and I'm showing you this so that you can see that there has to be a level of intentionality when you are doing this thing. You don't just put out the design or your visuals without being consistent. When they look at it across different touch points, are they consistent? When you do your letterhead, your business card, is it the same? Look at your ID card. the pattern, the icons that you use, how does it look like? Those are things, you need to pay attention to. You can see this is First Metro, the Lagos red line, green line branding as well. This is Lightil Africa. If you go to their pages, you will see that these things are very consistent. This is Excellence as well. So basically, that's how you do your branding. Okay, let me just run you through this. When I was working on this brand identity, and know the strategy session was done, just like what we discussed. And in that strategy session, that helped to know, okay, what exactly will be the representation of what the logo would look like. Revent is a holding company that has different sub brands, and you can see all the sub brands here. So there's the advisory, there's the bureau de change, there's capital, global finance, and technology. And what was the inspiration that came that led to the logo that you currently see right now? You can see different image representation. There is rhythm, there is pattern, there is movement, there is expression, there is growth. So all of that was what led to this sketch, which is what you have here. And if you look at the sketch, it is 3 arrows converging together to form this shape that you can see. And those 3 arrows are the 3 anchors of their brand: impact, finance, and then future. And at the core of what they do, so Revent will tell you that their tagline is "Value is what they value." So that is the core of their brand. That's their brand. So value is what they value. And around these images, you can see all the different things that comes into play. So capital, seed, currency, these are expressions of what the brand is about. And you can see, so these are different variations that were created of the logo before we now eventually came to this. This is what their pattern looks like. This is the type of images that is being used for the brand. So yes, this is what this is how this branding should come into play when you are doing all your design. I know we are not designers here, so part of why I'm also sharing this with you is when you need to invest in your brand identity. If you don't have the money to even start, at least when you eventually now get the money to be able to do that, you already have the understanding of what a full branding should look like. So that when you are speaking to the design team or whoever you're going to be working on your branding, let them know this is the level of detail or extent that you want your brand to communicate. Common mistakes you should avoid: too many fonts, random colors, blurry images, inconsistent logos. Avoid it. We've talked about the do's and don'ts of your logo. We've talked about the type of images you should use. We've talked about having your primary color and secondary color. Talked about how you need to have like maximum of 2 to 3 fonts, brand fonts. You need to have your own brand fonts. And all. Now we're going to do a quick demo using Canva based on everything that we've talked about. And I'm going to just share that for you to see. Okay, so can you see my screen? Can you still see what I'm showing you?
Yes, you can see
Okay, great. So I've just opened Canva, right? And I want you to just follow what I'm showing you. One of the things that makes Canva easy to use, and it's why one of the things that we recommend, at least for a start, even if you cannot use all the other tools like Adobe and whatnot, is that you can create a full branding. Like you can have your brand identity inbuilt inside Canva. You see it here. So where you see brand, you can see, yes. So if you click on brand, you can build your own brand kit. Now, one thing I want you to know is this brand kit option is not on the free Canva plan. However, the cost of Canva Pro is actually not expensive. See, invest in your business. I just opened this because I don't use Canva is not my primary tool. I just opened this today just for us to see how it goes, how to use it. And I paid for 1 month for this brand kit. And how much was it? Just so that I can use the premium option. It was 2,800 naira. 2,800 naira is very affordable for anyone that says is running a business. So if you and that is 2,800 naira for 1 month. I think for a year it's like 50K, and you have the full features of Canva. You have so many things that you can do. So what you do is go to brand kits. Let me just create a new brand kit. Let's call it Joseph School of Entrepreneurship, or JSC. So let's say we want to do branding for JSC and Joseph School of Entrepreneurship. You create, right? Now you can see that Canva already makes it easy for you. There is logo, there's color, there's fonts, there's brand voice, photo, graphics, icons, and charts. Basically all that we've been discussing. So when you click on logo, for example, it opens. So you are supposed to add your logo to the this. So let's upload Joseph School of Entrepreneurship logo. Yeah, let me just upload that. So JSC. So this is Joseph School of Entrepreneurship logo. I upload the logo on it. So I have my logo and the brand logo already integrated. You can see here it said new suggested palette from uploaded asset. It can take identify the colors of the brand. You can see that it has already identified the two primary colors used in the brand. So you can just keep it. You have your colors already in place for your branding. Fonts. Now you go to your fonts. You go to, if you have, you check here. So Joseph School of Entrepreneurship has the brand font. Or if you don't have the brand font, you know that okay, Joseph School of Entrepreneurship is not a playful brand. We need a sans serif font. Let's pick. Let's say we are using DM Sans as the brand font. So the title font has to be bold and big. So we selected that. The same thing too for subtitle. I can use DM Sans, but it will be the regular font because that is a subtitle. Remember our hierarchy discussion. Your main one, your less one, when you're arranging it, what is the biggest, what is the smallest? So title, subtitle is what you have under it. And then you have body text. Body text is the small information that you have. That's the smallest one. So you can have that one as DM Sans as well, and just use the regular form of it. And then you have your fonts already done in the brand template. Brand voice. You can come to brand voice. What is the personality that we want our brand to look like? Joseph School of Entrepreneurship needs to be very confident. It needs to be intellectual. It needs to be educative. It needs to be friendly. So I'll just write that here. Our voice is confident, expressive, educative, friendly, intellectual. You can put as much information. You can see you have up to 500. Intellectual. So what happens is that when you have this brand, but whatever it is that it is trying to suggest to you, you see how that brand voice reflects in that design. Photos as well. You can either add pictures to it, or you can tell it the type of images that you'll be using in your brand. Now, let's say we have all of this so that we don't just go. You can always try this out when you have time. Let's now say we want to create something, maybe an Instagram post, or an email, or maybe a PowerPoint presentation. Once you click that plus button, which is what I just clicked here, so you can use Instagram posts here. You can see it here. You can even have templates. Which one can look at the one that you think connects with your brand? Let's pick this one, for example. So I picked that. Let's say we want to do a quote, a carousel quote on Instagram for Joseph School of Entrepreneurship. It's loading. So this has multiple posts. But you notice that this is not yet branded to our branding. What would happen is, if you want this to go look like your brand, so you can just you click here. When you click there, come to the font at the top here. Once you do that, you can see where you have brand kits. You just select your font and it will automatically just adjust it. If you click here, for example, remember we have our color scheme. When you come to colors, come to brand kits, select your color. Remember, this is an highlight. The reason why you have this circle is because it's going to be an highlight. So if you use this one, there is no contrast. You use a color that is contrasted. If you select this this text as well, you will need to also change the color. Use the brand color. Click on it. So you have the brand color as well. The same thing too for this. This is not your brand. This is not the brand font. Remember, DM Sans is the brand font. You select it, and then you see that it automatically adjusts. The same thing too with color. You select your brand. You notice that all of these things are going to apply to your design, your visual. Here you can change So this is not our logo. You delete it, you insert your logo, go to brand kit, come to logo, and then you just drag. You either put your logo here, sorry, and then you reduce the size. Put it. Let's put it here. Let's not put it at the bottom, so that people can see the brand logo. So even this is the logo. Now, if you notice, I did not put the logo at the edge like this. I allowed space to be around it. Remember what we talked about in terms of your clear space and your logo breathing. So you need to have that around the logo. Change this color to your brand color as well. And then you have this already branded to it's stationary. You can, oh, you can see what I'm showing you. Wow. So all the things have been
It seems quite surprising.
are you serious? I didn't know that you've not been seeing what I've been. Can you see it now? Okay. I'll just. Can you see what
Yeah,
I've? Yeah. So
yes.
I changed all of that to the branding. Okay. Let's go for this second one. So if you click on this, for example, this is the second page. So this is like a carousel post. You know all those posts on IG and you swipe. So let's brand this to Business School of Authority. We select the background. So what's our color? You come here. Can you see brand kits? Go to your brand kits, all the color that you have, select the background. So this has already changed. Click on this, go to color, change the color to your brand color as well. Also change the fonts here to brand kits. You can see it here. It's automatically adjusts. The same thing too. Change the fonts, it adjusts to it. Change your colors to your brand. Change the colors to your brand colors as well. And see that here, just and you see this is now branded to the page. Delete what you don't need, add the logo. For this now, we cannot use, you need to use a color, the logo that would show on the particular background. So let's say we pick this circular one, for example. Not this. So you can have this at the bottom here. It is also part of your logo pause. We have different logo options for GSC, just so that it is consistent and it works across different platforms. So you change this again. This is another one. Let's say the next page. You want to change the color. Come to brand kits. You have your brand colors here. Select it. You can see it change to the blue of Jesus School of Entrepreneurship. And if you note, remember when we were talking about colors, I said you need to be intentional about the colors that you pick. Business School of Entrepreneurship color is blue and gold. And there is a reason behind that those two colors. It is not just for the sake of choosing listen. Imagine the color that we are using is pink and purple. It should just make the brand not look serious to come up as a playful or a feminine brand and whatnot. So those are things that you need to put into consideration when you're selecting your color, when you're doing all of these things. And I hope this has been very, very, very clear. And then once you are done with this, what you just need to do is come to share and then click on download. You click on download all the pages. And once you download them, you have everything on your system. You can now post. It is branded to your page. If you want to create a logo, for example, maybe you cannot pay a designer or yeah, you cannot pay a designer or a design agent. You can actually create it here also on Canva, right? You come to create at this top point. What would you like? Just type it logo. Canva is very intuitive. It will help you to provide everything that you need. But if you don't understand what you want to do, which is why we had the first session last week, all of these things, you just be doing anything, just be doing anything without direction. But because we had to go through that process of the type of logo or brand that you are trying to achieve, it makes all these building things easy to do. So you click on logo, and then you can now listen. It comes up. You can now build your logo here. There is the AI option, so you can describe what your logo would look like here, and it will generate designs for you. Let's say I want to create a logo for a fashion brand. So a logo for a premium fashion brand called Itura. Let's say that's what I want to. Listen, I click submit. Now, generate design. So what it will do is it will create design options for you that you can always tweak and adjust. Let's see what that is going to look like. You can see this my prompts that I wrote here. It's not very detailed, right? You need to be very detailed to be able to get what you are trying to do. These logos are not good. Let me just tell you that one. So this, let's say you use something like this. Now this is not bad. Even though I don't know why it's giving this icon, but let's just work with this for now. You can now edit this. You can change the font, you can change the color, you can build your brand kit from this and then save the logo. But remember to have different variations of your logo when you are building your logo. Now, before I end this class, this is L56, I want to show you something else. For pictures as well, they get pictures for your brand that is custom to your brand identity. So I'll open a new tab now, and there's this site called Image FX. So Image FX, if I click on this, so it's called labs.google.com. You sign in, you create an account with them, and you see why I'm showing you this particular page. So it already signed me in. Now let's say I want to create an image. I need an image. This is an AI site, by the way, but it is free, and you can create as many images as possible. I want to create a professional looking image of a man smiling, wearing suits, in an office setting, holding let's say he's holding a file, right? Yes, talking to a woman. So I have this, and then I can change my aspect. What aspect ratio means is whether you want it to be landscape, like the format of how you want the image to look like. Because I want to use this picture for Instagram, I select mobile portrait, which is the Instagram form. I'm going to add one more detail to this prompt. And I'll say I want this image to have a blue and gold tint or color scheme to it. And the reason why I'm adding this is because I want to use this image in our Joseph School of Entrepreneurship Instagram design that we are creating. And then I click on create. Now let's see what that's going to look like in a few minutes. And if you have this tool, see, you can do so many. You can even create an image of a plate of rice. We will see how that looks like. Use it to generate as much as you want. Now you can see that's created an image, but you use our colors. But now these people are white. Let's say I change it to a professional looking black image of a black man smiling, wearing suits in an office setting, talking to a black African woman wearing an African attire, and then you click create. It will generate based on the prompt that we've mentioned, it will generate that, and you can create as many as you want. So you can see that you don't have issue with picture. You don't even have to start using copyright pictures of people. You can create your own image yourself. Just know what you want to create, and you see it has already created that this image for us. We have that. If you are into what you just need to do is come to the one you like and just click on download, and you have the image on your system. Or let's say I want top view of a plate of rice and chicken. Let me write jollof rice. Let me whet our appetite. Jollof rice and chicken on a wooden African plate. The background should be black. Let me click on create. Let's see what that image is going to look like. So you have access to pictures, you have access to Canva for whatever it is that you're trying to create. You don't have any excuse to not. You can see how good this looks. This can be an image that you can just download and use. This is better chicken. You can see the plate itself. It's like an African wooden plate, and you have this image to yourself. You can use it in a design. So let's say I download this picture. If you download it, I download it on my system, and then I come to Joseph School of Entrepreneurship, where we are creating our design. Where is it? Sorry, I'm just trying to find. Okay, now this is where our design is. Let's say I want to place that picture on this. Let me delete all of this. Right, I want to insert that image here. So I just come to upload file. So select it, and then select that my plate. So you see it here. See it. This is the image. Now, if you want to remove the background, sorry, let me just close this. If I want to remove the background, the only thing I want is just the plate. Click on background remover, and it will do its magic. Just watch what that is going to look like. And you have your image. This is and this is easy to do. So any image you want, after you've done it, remove the background so that it looks like it is part of your brand, and then you are good to go. So this is basically how you can do how you can use Canva. We've talked about the branding, the colors, everything. It is very consistent. So what I'm going to do now is, because we are done with with this session, I will share a link to resources that you can use to get access to things. So this is Kulos COLORS.co. This is Google Fonts. So if you're looking for fonts, I have. Let me just do this for 2 minutes. So let me show you how to. If you are struggling with fonts, let's go to this website. Let me just Kulos.co. Second. Just so that you can just see how that looks like. So that when you are trying to so you go to this website, COO hello. Yeah, so this is the website. So once you come to this website, you can generate like a color scheme for yourself that works with your brand. It has different options. So let's say you click on start generator, and it's free. You can even select the colors, use that for your brand as well. I just wanted to load. It is okay. Yes. So you can see that it has different color options, and you can see the names of the color. You can change, you can make a collage, you can download it so that you have that as your color scheme. You can pick a particular, you can even pick a color scheme from a picture. So let's say you have a picture that you want to pick a color scheme from, you can do that as well from this site, and it is free. Google Fonts. Let's go to Google Fonts. If you're looking for how to get fonts for free, that you won't have any issue, come to Google Fonts. Let's say Joseph School. What happens is when you click this, it shows you how the fonts will look like. Remember, we talked about different types of fonts. If you want something fancy, when you click on fancy, you can see how it looks like. When you click on loud, you see how that looks like, and you can just select the fonts, and then you can easily just get the font and download it onto your system. So that's that's what all of this is. So when you have this, you scan this QR code, there are different resources that you can get that are free to be able to help with your visuals, your design, everything that we've discussed in this session. And I believe that this session has been very insightful, and we've been able to understand everything I've been trying to communicate in this session. Thank you very much. Mr. Terry, are you here?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Thank you very, very, very much. Fantastic. You see what? You know what, guys? You see that what we have packaged together for you, it's so much. that we have to even be rushing. That's why we from the beginning we insisted that we will register, we record all our sessions, right? So, Mr. Gideon, thank you very much. One thing that Gideon would never do, is even is trying to brag in any way. All the companies he used for examples today, when he was showing you guys the color palette, color whatever, all of those color stuff, right? Just know he has worked on those brands. Most of them I know because I've worked with. He's worked with a brand that in a brand that my company. He had worked with a company that I worked with before. So when we say he's good, he's good. Thank you very much, Gideon. And then just so you know, each of our facilitators, apart from sacrificing to prepare their lesson notes, their slides, and the rest of it, they've also promised that they will be available to answer questions, whenever you have them. All right. So if you have questions asked on the group, we are all monitoring. Myself is there, Fabulous Julian is there, Gideon is also there. We're listening. Any question you have, just ask, okay, this question is for so person. Even if after their session, ask, they would always respond because they are the way we are raising Christian entrepreneurs, the same way we have Christian facilitators. All right. So thank you very much, Gideon. Now, if you guys have any questions, it's time to ask now. Or otherwise, because time, we still have like about 8 minutes, so you can ask your questions now, and then the ones that we can answer, we'll answer here. Otherwise, we'll answer the remaining one, the rest of them, on our group or on the group chat. So you can raise your hand or you can drop your message, your message, on the chat section. Thank you very much. So we'll be waiting for questions. Okay, yeah, Dr. Samuel Owolabi, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Gideon, and the facilitator of this wonderful school. My first encounter with Mr. Gideon was at the BBC convention where he taught us about AI. I gained a lot. In fact, so hearing from him, learning from him again this night has really validated what I perceived him to be. He's a good teacher and he's teaching us for free. For that, we are grateful. Thank you very much, sir. And I don't really have a question. I just want to appreciate you for the lesson because the truth of the matter is some of us that dabble into design do not have this background knowledge about it. You know, we just design based on our what we can see. Personally, I'm speaking for myself. When I design, is it fine to me? Yeah, it's fine. I don't really consider all these nitty gritty. But now that I've learned all this, at least it will make me better at it. Thank you very much. God bless you, sir.
Thank you very much. Another. Any other question? Contribution? Okay. I think I see Usman and stuff. You can go on. Abisola Esther Usman, if you can hear me, I think you have the floor. Your hand is up. Hello. Are we still here?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
We
sir.
are here.
Okay, so if there are no other questions, okay, Usman, you have a question, so go ahead. Usman, your hand is raised. Can you please? Okay. In case you are speaking, your microphone is muted. Otherwise, I'll move on right now.
Hello, can you hear me now?
Okay, go ahead.
Sorry, I want to ask if the Canvas app that you use to design, if somebody can use phone, the mobile phone to do it, or is it only laptop?
Absolutely, you can use phone. So there is that you can download the app on your phone. You just
Okay.
go to Google Store and search for Canva.
All right. Thank you, sir. That's my question.
All right. Thank you very much. So I think we've come to the end. Mr. Gideon, how many people have submitted their assignments? Do you want to make comments about the assignments before we close, Mr. Gideon?
Okay. I've not seen anyone's response yet on the email.
Okay.
I'm believing that people are taking their time to
Okay.
properly answer.
Okay.
So, well, yeah, I don't, for now, no
Okay.
comments till once
Okay.
again, so the assignments are being submitted.
Okay. I'm sure some of them want to rewatch the previous video just to get up to speed. Guys, see, the assignments he gave, they're actually very easy. The fact that there are several bullet points doesn't mean it's difficult. What is your mission? What is your vision? Those are the basic things he's asking. Most of you that have business, you already have your mission. Some of you, your mission is to,
You gave us
your
the
vision.
deadline of 16th. You
Okay,
gave us
okay,
the
okay.
deadline of 16th
Of
of
16.
November.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, fair enough.
That's next
Fair
week.
enough. Okay, okay. It's not.
Except that deadline is a mistake.
No, it's not a mistake. Don't worry. It's fine. It's fine. So just take your time and come up with the best that you guys can.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for the feedback. All right, guys. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Enjoy the rest of your day. Prepare for next week Tuesday's class. We are going to have fabulous Julian.
Thank you.
Yes, fabulous John. She's going to take us through marketing, everything marketing, social media, influencer, all of it, everything marketing. He's going to take us through that. So thank you once again, Mr. Gideon. God bless you. In fact, what we have learned here today, some of these things don't even get taught the way you taught them in an Harvard class. So, so thank you very much. We appreciate you. God will bless you for us. All right. Good night, everyone. Good night, everyone.
Good night. Thank
Good night,
you.
everyone. Yes, thank you
Good
for
night.
Thank you. God bless you.